Hi everybody, welcome to 5 Minute Ministries. Jesus said, "No man can serve two masters, for he will either love the one and hate the other, or he will be devoted to one and despise the other. No man can serve God and money." Now, I bring this up because there is a connection from this, something that isn't talked about at all, and it's the idea that people will serve God in order to get money. Now, this mentality, it's very cultural, it's very American, and people are getting rich off of this idea. And those who are getting rich are the people who are motivational speakers disguised as, and I'll put it in quotes, pastors. They're not pastors. They are motivational speakers, and their motivation is money. They're out to get yours. They disguise it as God's work. And they say, if you give to God's work, God will double what you give. He will triple what you give. And He will motivate you by your greed or by your financial need sometimes. And He'll say, if you give to God's work, God will give you more than what you give. And that is not a biblical concept. Now, the reason they say this is because it's the idea, I'm doing God's work, therefore give to my ministry, and I will get rich. And if God doesn't make you rich, then you don't have enough faith. Say that's the gimmick, that's the scheme, that's the scam. It's a big lie. I've addressed this before in other messages, but that's not really where I'm going with this. See, the idea is that God does not necessarily bless with money. I've heard people oversay it before. I overheard somebody say, well, I got a $200 check in the mail. And then somebody else will come along and say, oh, well, you're blessed. That's not necessarily true. I mean, sure, it's nice to get that, but that doesn't mean that's how God is blessing you. He blesses in so many different ways. I want you to think about the life of Jesus. Who was more blessed than Jesus? Who did God's work more than Jesus? Absolutely nobody. And let's look at the life of Jesus. He was born into a poor family in a poor neighborhood. He hung out with poor people. His disciples were poor. He never accumulated any wealth. Any money he got, he either gave to somebody less fortunate or used for food. Jesus did not walk around the earth accumulating wealth and getting rich. And the Bible says we are to be like Him. And I'm not saying you have to live in poverty. But I'm saying you're supposed to use what God blesses you with and bless other people with it. And that includes your money. But just because you're rich does not mean that that is how God has blessed you. He can and has, and there's no sin against having money. There's no sin against accumulating wealth. But if that is your sole goal, if that is how you are using the work of God, then you are committing a grievous sin. You are sinning against the work of God in order to benefit yourself. The goal is to benefit others with what He gives you. That is what a blessing truly is. When you get something from God and you are able to bless others with it, then you are blessed through that means. And it doesn't have to be solely money. God is not there just to hand out checks. He's not there to dump millions of dollars into your lap. That's not how God operates. Does He give money? Yes. Is that the way He always does it? No. See, Jesus is not an ATM. We don't beg God for money. There's songs like Pennies from Heaven, Lord, won't you buy me a Mercedes-Benz? And it's all based on our desires. It's not based on our love for God and our desire to please Him. We cannot hang our hat on that, so to speak. That's why Jesus had to say you cannot serve God and money. So you cannot serve God to get money either. That is not the goal. You serve God because you love God, not because you want something from Him. You do it because of what He has done for you. So don't get hung up on the idea that if you give to the church, if you give to the poor, if you give to certain ministries, that God will dump a bunch of cash in your lap. It's just not going to happen. Now, He may bless you with money, but again, that is not solely what He does. He blesses in so many different ways. So the Bible tells us to count our blessings. It doesn't mean $1, $2, $3. No, it means, okay, he blessed me with a good job. He blessed me with a good family, with a good church, with a good pastor, with good friends. He blessed me with this ability and that ability. Those are just some of the blessings that he uses. So don't get hung up on the money thing. God is not there to, just make it rain, as the phrase says. He is there to bless you in so many other different ways. And take what he gives you and be a blessing to him. This has been 5 Minute Ministries. I'll see you next time.